Welcome to the Hilti PROFIS Engineering Suite Handrail Design Module tutorial. First, navigate to the Handrail Design module from the Setup screen. From the header bar, you can access resources, help functions, and take virtual tours of useful features. In the far right corner, you can manage your profile settings. By clicking on the wheel at the top, you can change the name and location of your file. Now let's move to the navigation pane. The first button on the navigation pane is the Home button that will take you back to the Setup screen. Next, we have the Favorites input, which is pre-populated with the design parameters that users tend to use the most. Handrails can typically be fully designed using the pre-populated inputs, but as you become more familiar with Hilti PROFIS Engineering Suite, we recommend customizing your favorites list based on the parameters that you use most often. Now, let's click on the Application tab. Here you can choose your application, for example, handrails that are fixed on top of slabs or those that are on the sides of staircases. We'll use a handrail fixed on concrete plate example here. Below the application option is where we can define environmental characteristics like if the handrails are inside or outside and how far apart the posts are. Here's where you can select the shape of the railing and the post. You can also select the steel grade, rotation, and the location, plus whether or not you'd like to change the weld design. Under the Loads tab, you can select what type of a building you're working on. The loads will be automatically selected based on regulatory conditions for your project location. Keep in mind that if the building is outside, the wind load needs to be set for each region. The dead load is the weight of the handrail, including the weight of cladding and flower boxes. Under Base Material, you can choose properties like type of concrete being used, concrete strength, reinforcement conditions, temperature, geometry, and installation conditions. Under the Base Plate tab, you can choose the shape of the base plate, the dimensions, and define any standoff. Beneath that, you can define the base plate's position, thickness, offset, and material. You can also activate the normal stress distribution on 3D and select Optimized Anchor Plate Thickness. On the Anchors tab, you can choose the type of anchor that you want to select, as well as view the approval. You can see the relevant anchor item number here. This is also where you can change the layout of the anchors. Let's move on to the 3D pane. In this tab, you can manage and change dimensions with access to a Redo and Undo button on the top. Below that, the Multiple Load Combinations feature shows all the load combinations that are being calculated in the background. In the Output pane on the right, we can see the capacity of the anchor being used. The decisive multiple load combination is shown on the right. You'll receive notifications when the design input is inconsistent and needs to be fixed, or if the software has any other recommendations to improve the design. Finally, once we have a working design, it's time to save it or output a PDF report. A CAD drawing can also be generated using Hilti PROFIS Engineering Suite. Here's an example of the PDF report containing the design conditions and calculations. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this tutorial helpful. For more information, please visit hilti.com.